What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this video, we have why Amsterdam has canals. Before we dive in and figure out the answer to this question, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you like support this channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit the join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Let's get right to it.
This is the canal belt of Amsterdam. A network of 165 canals make this one of the most unique cities in the world. But these waterways are just one part of an insane man-made design. A city supported by hundreds of thousands of wooden poles, with artificial islands and inventions that changed cities forever. But the planners of this city had three massive issues to overcome. In this video, I will show you how these problems led to the genius design of Amsterdam's canals.
Let's do it.
Why do you make a city that looks like it floats on water? Is it because of the way it looks, or because the Dutch were searching for a hobby?
Resource management.
It was neither. It was a matter
It
of
was
life
to,
and death.
yeah, it was to control floods. The canal, it was to control the flooding that was happening to so many people, especially after that absolutely horrific flood happened. I think that's when the Netherlands we've got to figure this out. And it seems like that's kind of been the battle between the Netherlands and the ocean, right? Is that the Dutch have to figure out how to innovate and stop their land from being flooded because it's like flat land. Some of the land is like they had to reclaim from the water, and the water trying to figure out how to get that land back under.
Amsterdam was built on a swamp. The ground is too soft and too wet. It's not suitable to grow crops or to build homes. To
Really?
get rid of the excess water, the people living here dug ditches. These ditches helped to drain the land. They also drilled wooden poles into the ground to support their houses.
Okay.
Draining the land
It seemed like I was kind of wrong on that. Everything I just said, I felt like I was so right, and now I feel kind of stupid. Okay. Anyways, back to the video.
created a new problem. Free from the water, the ground sank. Floods now threatened their town. Amsterdam had to protect itself, so they built dikes and a dam in the river Amstel. This gave the city its name, Amsterdam, or Amsterdam.
Well, they did say
Kept the drainage going,
against the flooding, so I was kind of
to
right.
build canals. The main river in the city, the Amstel, is actually a huge canal built to improve water flow. I was born in Amsterdam. I was raised there.
Oh
When you tell
wow.
that to other Dutch people, they get a bit suspicious because they're sure Amsterdammers feel better than them, which is...
Really?
So let me show you around the best city of the Netherlands. 750 years after its birthday as a city. What was once a simple settlement around a dam flourished and expanded, adding layer after layer. The city built canals to make sure the water could flow away.
Understandable.
And for tourists to celebrate their individuality. And Amsterdam built islands to house new districts. But the city would need a lot more space very soon.
Water, people.
In 1568, the Dutch rose up against their Spanish overlords. In a resulting war, thousands fled to the north. Merchants, bankers, scientists, and a huge labor force entered Amsterdam. The city almost doubled in population. The city became overcrowded, and Amsterdam needed to expand.
To almost
Middle Ages.
to almost double in population is absolutely insane. Like, yeah, you're gonna need a lot more, right? The demand, and I think that's the problem that a lot of people have with mass immigration in the moment right now. A lot of countries have is that the population is starting to soar, but the city or the state or the country or the land it can't handle a population boom of that size. So, but the Dutch is like, well, we're gonna have to figure this out. And so, is this when you started reclaiming land, or is this just about Amsterdam? I guess let's figure out what they did.
Towns were not planned. They spread like bacteria, always expanding to the edges. This is why
Yeah.
streets in old cities are often very curvy.
Mm.
But this was a different time. With so many new people, organic expansion just wouldn't cut it. They needed a plan. This plan needed to deal with the water, house the migrants, and the most important, have strong defenses to protect the city in times of war. They started with building a wall that would shelter the new districts of the city. Parts of the wall were rented out to millers in times of peace. Inside the wall, there are 3 areas.
Ooh.
Planners built more islands for industrial activity. You can see it in the architecture. The buildings here are built with storage in mind. Then 2 residential districts with 2 different approaches. The rulers of the city believed that the rich are rich and the poor are poor and the 2 should never meet. To keep this separation, they each got their own district. The poor got the Jordaan.
Are rich and the poor are poor and the two should never meet. It just feels like that's kind of what the world looks like. I know in the Netherlands, right, you guys started mixing them in those areas, but it just feels like kind of in the U.S. that's even in certain cities, states in the country, you have a rich side of town, you have a poor side of town, you have a rich state part of the state, you have a poor part of the state. You have richer parts of the country, you have poor parts of the country. It's just kind of how it is, and it just here in the U.S. at least it feels like that disparity between the two, and that there is like a distance kept between the two, so that the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. It feels like we're kept away, in a sense. That's me though, but let's hear what we got here.
District. Here the streets follow the drainage ditches that were already built. It's a cheap solution. The houses are built close together to maximize living space. And the heavy industry and the pollution was also placed in this district for the poor. For the rich, these old waterways were redrawn. 3 canals with straight elements now ring the twisting medieval streets of the city. The Prinsengracht, Keizersgracht and Herengracht. There was a hierarchy to the canals. The Prinsengracht combined living and commerce, while the other 2 canals were residential. This part of the Herengracht was for the 1%. A difference you can still see in the architecture. Inside the plot, the gardens gave access to green. And they did something new, something that no city had ever thought to do before, which was planting trees, to have shade, to have some green for its citizens.
I feel that, man. That's
The
nice.
canals made it
That
possible
looks
to
beautiful.
transport good across the city, while hundreds of bridges connected the streets for residents to find their way around.
That's very nice.
Is this a genius design? If you look closely,
To me, I think it's a genius design, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm a fan of the Dutch and the innovation that you guys have. Like some of the things that you invented and the way that you control the water. I call y'all the water bending tribe because it always fascinates me. But I think it's a genius design that was made out of necessity, right? You had to figure out a way to deal with the excess water, so bam. And I feel like necessity absolutely will bring forth some sort of genius in some way, shape, or form every time.
clear that this was a first time for the planners. The design looks a bit awkward, as first times often are.
For sure.
The circle wasn't finished, it stopped here. A weak spot in a strong wall. And look at how the main streets of the canals hit the Jordaan. If you cross here, you just hit a wall of bricks.
I see.
Inside the Jordaan neighborhood, you're always turning, because it doesn't have a single artery to connect the north to the south.
Wow.
But migrants weren't stopped by suboptimal traffic flow. No, they just kept on coming. In less than 100 years, Amsterdam's population grew almost 7 times bigger. It would grow to become the most important city in the world.
Oh
the center
my
of a global island,
gosh.
where many inventions were made that make cities livable today. This time, the planners were prepared. Instead of many different plans for each part of the new city, they went for one master plan. The plan was to use Odoo, the best business management software on the planet.
I will skip the sponsorship part. Oh, yeah.
So, try Odoo now. With lessons learned, the next plan will be a truly genius design. Completing the city wall to make a half circle. The canals stretch even further, achieving symmetry. Main arteries made all the districts accessible. Back streets in the commercial district could be used for traffic. The Influx of talent, money, and expertise made the city the center of the world. In a time when kings got their authority from God, the rulers in Amsterdam preferred worldly power. They built the biggest city hall the world had ever seen. Amsterdam was the financial capital of the world. At the Beurs, you could buy or sell a tiny piece of the East India Company, a piece that would give you a yearly dividend. This was the invention of the stock market. They built new islands to house the biggest industrial wharf on Earth, where the Dutch East India Company built its ships that took spices from the east and brought the local slavery and steel. All the lands they took were carefully drawn by the best mapmakers on Earth. The new confident rich commissioned paintings that did not have saints or scenes from the Bible, but showed themselves. And they built canal houses. In a city that attracted global talent, inventions were made that found their way to cities all over the world. Street lighting to help you find your way at night. The fire hose to fight the flames that could ravage entire districts. Yet, the city wasn't perfect.
That's wild, bro. But like I said, it's just absolutely fascinating. All the stuff that was built and the fact that Amsterdam grew 7 times the population within 100 years is genuine, like 7 times. Like in 100 years, 7 times the population. That's mind blowing and bonkers. But I guess this made Amsterdam the most important city in the world at that point in time. And they continuously, although the first plan, hey, rough draft, first plan never goes according to plan, especially when it's your first time doing something. So you know what? You see where your flaws, you see your mistakes, and the second plan was a lot better. It sounded like, and they learned from the mistakes of that first plan. But you kind of get to see how Amsterdam started to shape and become Amsterdam, the circumstances and situations that helped Amsterdam become Amsterdam.
All that water is great for us
Mm.
now. But living next to it in the 17th century, that's a different story. It was
Mm.
used as an open sewer. Dead
Oh.
animals would float in the water next to factory
Oh.
waste. It would get so bad that rich people just left in the summer for houses outside of the city.
Yeah.
And visitors to Amsterdam, well, they noticed. Amsterdam is a beautiful maiden with a horrible breath.
Oh.
Amsterdam is made of shit and mud.
Ugh.
And the success story wouldn't last. The city planners planned for an Amsterdam that would keep on growing, but
Oh.
that did not happen. If you
Yeah,
take a look
not
at
if
the
it's
plan
like
of this
that.
map, canals suddenly end. This is different from the original plan. In this area, the streets are wider. There's even place for a zoo. This is
Mm.
because the rise of Amsterdam and the Dutch Republic would come to a sudden end. Attacked by its neighbors, it
Oh
lost its
wow.
permanent place in the world.
Oh
Plans had to
Lord.
be changed. The population declined.
Dang.
No one wanted to buy the plots in this part of the city.
But yeah.
Amsterdam seemed frozen in time. This map, made in 1670, could easily be used to navigate the whole city 150 years later.
Yeah, I would say. Oh, we still got. Oh, okay, I thought it was done.
In the present day, this is no longer the case. But it is amazing how much of the original design can still be seen today. The place of the old defensive positions. Some houses are literally built on the old foundations. Amsterdam would become the inspiration for many cities in the future. Nowadays here the canals are clean, the trees provide shade. The city size feels extremely livable. You're not dwarfed by huge buildings and boulevards that seem to go on forever. And while no one would expect hordes of YouTubers praising Dutch urban planning 400 years in the future, it is clear that modern Dutch urban planners are standing on the shoulders of giants.
I absolutely love that. I feel like, yeah, I guess I did think about the fact that in the 17th century, living by a body of water, you're probably going to dump your waste in it and dead animals. And yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. I wouldn't. At first, it sounded amazing until they talked about that, and it's like, You can see a lot of rich people was leaving in the summer for sure, but and the population declined, but that not. I guess he didn't say necessarily was due to race, but due to the invasion from the neighbors. That's all we have. Y'all, please talk to me in the comment section. Let me know what you thought. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe, give a bit of thumbs up, check out the